the cap on migrant worker visas, and now she pretends she's furious about the open borders policy of the last government.
To adjust our policies. I am somebody who's prepared to front up. I'm prepared to take the tough decisions.
I will defend our decisions in the budget all day long. I will defend facing up to the harsh light of fiscal reality.
Did Liz Truss just end Keir Starmer's political career? In a shocking live TV moment, the former PM dropped a bombshell that's left Westminster reeling. Starmer, once hailed as Labour's great hope, now finds himself at the centre of a storm that could tear his party apart. But what exactly did Truss reveal? And why are 61% of voters already turning their backs on the Labour leader? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Liz Truss's unexpected return to the political spotlight has sent shockwaves through Westminster. What began as a routine interview on Sky News quickly turned into a political earthquake that threatens to reshape the landscape of British politics.
Unlike the honourable gentleman, who hasn't done anything on businesses, he's done nothing to say he'll protect people after 1 year, he's got no plan.
Is that because you fear failure?
No, Beth. The way we've constructed it is that there are foundational things that a government must do.
As Truss settled into her chair, few could have predicted the bombshell she was about to drop. The former Prime Minister, who had largely retreated from public view following her brief and tumultuous tenure at Number 10, suddenly found herself at the centre of a new controversy, this time as the bearer of explosive allegations against Labour leader Keir Starmer. The nature of Truss's claims sent immediate ripples through political circles. While the full details remain unclear, sources close to the situation suggest they involve serious breaches of ethical conduct that could potentially end Starmer's political career. Social media erupted within minutes, with Truss allegations trending nationwide as speculation ran rampant. Political commentators were quick to weigh in. Some questioned Truss's motivations, suggesting this might be an attempt to rehabilitate her own image by shifting focus onto her opponents. Others saw it as a calculated move to destabilize the Labour Party at a crucial moment in the electoral cycle.
The way that we will get our country growing is through more jobs, more growth, more opportunities, not through higher taxes, higher spending, and his friends in the union stopping hard-working people.
I'm convinced that if we can show that politics can change Britain for the better, then we can face the future with confidence.
It's made sure that we're going to see higher economic growth, lower inflation and more opportunities.
Truss's strategy, whether intentional or not, has certainly succeeded in throwing the political establishment into disarray. Labour Party insiders are reportedly in crisis mode, scrambling to formulate a response that can mitigate the potential damage to Starmer's reputation and leadership. The implications for Starmer's career cannot be overstated. With his approval ratings already on shaky ground, these allegations threaten to erode what remains of his public support. The coming days will be critical as more details emerge and the Labour leader formulates his response. In the wake of Truss's interview, the entire tenor of public discourse has shifted dramatically. Media outlets that were focused on economic policies and Brexit fallout have pivoted to wall-to-wall coverage of this developing scandal. Political talk shows are hastily rebooking guests to discuss the potential fallout. As the dust settles from this initial shockwave, attention is now turning to Starmer's record and public image. How will these allegations square with his carefully cultivated persona of integrity and transparency? To understand the full impact of Truss's claims, we need to examine Starmer's journey from Labour's great hope to a leader under siege.
In terms of how they've handled the last 100 days, could do better. I mean, they won an impressive outcome in terms of the general election.
No, and he got in with a very low proportion of the vote. He got in by default because people were unhappy with the Conservatives.
Remember when Keir Starmer was hailed as Labour's knight in shining armour? Fast forward to today, and that armour is looking decidedly tarnished. From designer glasses to corporate freebies, Starmer's fall from grace reads like a cautionary tale of politics gone wrong. But how did it all unravel so spectacularly? Starmer's rise to Labour leadership was meteoric, fueled by promises of stability and integrity after years of chaotic Tory rule. He positioned himself as the antidote to political turmoil, a principled leader who would restore trust in the system. His key policy positions resonated with many: a commitment to ethical governance, transparency in leadership, and a fresh start for the Labour Party. But as the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words, and Starmer's actions have increasingly contradicted his carefully crafted image. Take, for instance, the controversy surrounding his acceptance of high-value gifts. Eyebrows were raised when it emerged that Starmer had been sporting designer glasses worth nearly $2,500. This revelation was quickly followed by reports of the Labour leader accepting tickets to high-profile events and lavish hospitality from corporate sponsors. These incidents might seem trivial in isolation, but they've contributed to a growing perception that Starmer is out of touch with ordinary voters. His leadership style, once praised for its discipline, is now criticized as timid and disconnected. The man who promised to bridge the gap between politicians and the public now finds himself firmly entrenched in the elite political class he once railed against. Starmer's approval ratings tell a story of rapidly eroding public trust. Recent polls show a staggering 61% of voters disapproving of his leadership.
We are spending almost £1 trillion of public spending. We were spending $700 billion back in 2010.
Two-year energy freeze, gone. Tax-free shopping, gone. Economic credibility, gone.
Getting more oil and gas, we in Britain have ended up closing down our oil and gas. This is what's happening under this Labour government.
This dramatic decline raises serious questions about his ability to lead Labour into the next general election. Party insiders are reportedly growing restless, with whispers of a potential leadership crisis becoming louder by the day. But it's Liz Truss's bombshell revelation that might prove to be the final nail in Starmer's political coffin. In her explosive live TV interview, Truss alleged that Starmer had engaged in a long-term extramarital affair with a senior member of his staff. This accusation, if proven true, would shatter Starmer's carefully constructed image of integrity and family values. As Westminster reels from this latest scandal, the implications for British politics are far-reaching. Starmer's potential downfall raises questions about the future of the Labour Party and the nature of political leadership in an era of intense public scrutiny. Can any politician truly live up to the lofty ideals they espouse, or are we destined for an endless cycle of disillusionment? As the dust settles on this latest political earthquake, we're left wondering, what's next for British politics? The Truss-Starmer saga has exposed deep cracks in our political system, raising serious questions about integrity and accountability at the highest levels. Can voters ever truly trust their leaders again? Or are we doomed to an endless cycle of scandal and disillusionment? The public's patience is wearing thin, with many feeling like they're watching the same tired drama play out time and time again. Perhaps it's time for a fundamental rethink of how we choose and scrutinize our political leaders. The old playbook of spin and damage control clearly isn't cutting it anymore. As we look to the future, one thing is clear: the British public is hungry for genuine change, not just empty promises and carefully crafted personas. This latest controversy may fade from the headlines, but its impact will linger. It's another stark reminder that in politics, the truth has a way of catching up with you, sometimes when you least expect it. For Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, the road ahead looks rocky indeed,